This is the first time I'm doing a Giants game preview. I've done many game reviews, obviously, over the last year or so, but this is the first time I'm doing a preview. I asked you guys the questions in the community page who would be interested in watching, and I appreciate you guys so much who like my work and respect my opinion and stuff like that. So, of course, I would love to put out Giants game previews for you guys, but I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be brutally honest. There might not be a lot of times where I pick the Giants to win this year, especially if they play the way they did week one. So I will have valid reasons for what I say. I'm not just going to be like, oh, the Bills are better, so I picked the Bills. Like, no, there's going to be reasons behind it. There's going to be stats and evidence and all that kind of stuff. I'm not just going to sound like a jackass. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy these previews. If you want more of these, let me know. I will probably do them weekly on Thursday or Friday. So let me know if you guys like this, and let's get into the video. So we start with the injury report, and we'll start with the Giants. Of course, Sterling Shepard, it came out on Monday afternoon that he's dealing with a concussion. I personally don't know when it happened during the game. I mean, maybe it happened on the plane ride home. I don't know. That's just a joke, obviously, but I don't know when it happened. These concussions are tricky. He hasn't been in a legitimate practice yet. He's done stuff on the side, some jogging and stuff like that, but he hasn't been in any contact drills or anything like that. So it's not looking good for him right now, but it could come out tomorrow on Friday that he is playing. I mean, I'm sure they'll make a decision tomorrow about him. So it's not looking good, but it's not definite that he's out yet. But I would lean more that he's out more than in. Kareem Martin was placed on the IR with a knee injury. He is eligible to return at some point this year, so his season is not over technically. I believe he can come back week 11-ish, around there, but it depends how he heals, obviously. Darius Slayton, who missed the week one against Dallas, our wide receiver rookie, he probably won't play in this game. I haven't heard much about him. No optimism around him playing this game. Garrett Dickerson, the tight end, the third tight end on this team, he will probably be out as well with a quad injury. He missed week one as well. Haven't heard much optimism around him. And Cody Latimer was a late add to the injury report on Thursday, actually, with a calf injury. Did not practice. These late injuries in the week are always scary. You never know, but it doesn't sound too serious. I would kind of lean to him playing in this game, but it also wouldn't shock me if he doesn't play. So if he doesn't play, the Giants are really limited at receiver. You're basically down to guys like Benny Fowler and Cody Core and who else do we have? I actually have to look. Honestly, I have no idea. Cody Core, they just signed TJ Jones back. So Russell Shepard's still there. So they have to lean on these receivers that are number 3 and number 4 receivers. That's not good news for us. I mean, the Giants, you trade Odell Beckham and you don't sign you sign Golden Tate, but he's out with the suspension, so they're just in the crappiest situation right now for receivers. It is what it is. I'm not saying I wish we still had Odell, but I'm just saying when you trade him and you're the guy you sign has a suspension, you're kind of going to be in a rough situation. And Sterling Shepard needed to stay healthy these first 4 weeks, and unfortunately did not happen. I've said in previous videos Cody Latimer needs to stay healthy these first 4 weeks. That might not happen either. So I mean that's Cody Latimer though. Unfortunately, he's very injury prone, and that's the way it is. So I'm trying to see if I miss anybody. So Slayton, Tate Jones, Corey Coleman on IR, obviously, Russell Shepard, Benny Fowler, Cody Core. All right, yeah, so that's pretty much everybody. And now we go to the Bills. So the Bills are missing, or not definite yet, but it's looking like they're going to miss their starting slot corner, Taron Johnson, with a hamstring issue, went down in the Jets game, so he probably will be out, which is good news for us. So who's ever playing slot for us, I don't even know who's going to play slot for us, honestly. I mean, if I had to guess, I would say TJ Jones is more of a slot receiver, but we'll see. I don't know. They might put Evan Engram in the slot all game. I have no idea. So he's not looking like he's going to play, so that's good news for us. Andre Roberts, their great kick returner, punt returner, was with the Jets last year, so some of you might know him. He's looking out as well with a quad injury. He was out week one, so I'm thinking he's going to be out this game, but it's definitely looking worse for the Giants in terms of their injury report right now. I mean, the Giants are missing 3 starters basically, and Slayton and Dickerson could have been big players for us this year. They still have a chance, obviously, but it's not happening the first 2 weeks, of course. So I think the Giants right now are a little depleted with the injuries as compared to the Bills, so it's definitely not good for the Giants, and we'll see if they can overcome that. So here's everything laid out for you. We have the Bills notes and the Giants notes. Let's start with the Bills this time. They have one of the best corners in football in Tre'Davious White. He was amazing last year. Very young corner. I'm sure a lot of people don't know about him. I'm sure a lot of people do know about him if you're just an overall NFL fan. But he's a very good corner, so watch out for him. But who's he going to cover, honestly? I mean, the Giants don't have a number one receiver right now, so it's kind of a waste to have a lockdown corner in this situation. Maybe he tries to guard Evan Engram. I'm not sure. I don't know what the Bills' game plan is going to be, but it would be an interesting thought. The Bills' defense is legit. They were second in total defense in 2018. Obviously, last season, they held the Jets to a low amount of total yards. I forget the number off the top of my head, but they did a good job against the Jets. The Jets did score 16 points, but 8 of it was off of a safety and a fumble return for a touchdown. So the Bills' defense only gave up 8 points last week to the Jets' offense, so that's really good. They had one of the best turnover defenses in 2018, so they got to watch out for that. They sacked Sam Darnold 4 times last week. I feel like if they can sack Sam Darnold, who is more mobile than Eli Manning, maybe they get to him around 4 times. But the Giants' offensive line is better than the Jets right now. I mean, not by a mile, but it is a little better than the Jets' offensive line. So the offensive line has to play well for 2 weeks in a row. It's a tough task against this defense. The Giants are playing very tough defenses back to back, but that's just their schedule, and you have to play it. So it is what it is. So the Jets' offense, here we go, had 223 total yards. I forgot I wrote it down. So, that's a pretty good number in today's NFL. 223 total yards is not a lot. The Jets have a lot of good players on that offense. You talk about Le'Veon Bell, Jamison Crowder, Robbie Anderson. Sam Darnold was supposed to be a breakout quarterback this year. Obviously has the mono issue. Sucks for him. So hopefully a speedy recovery for him. But, to hold them to 223 yards is pretty good in my opinion. They were 5 for 10 on third down offense, the Bills, which is a pretty good rate. If you're converting 50% of the time, that's definitely better than what the Giants did in Dallas on offense, so that's a good thing. Watch out for Ed Oliver, who went number 9 overall. If you've been with me for a while, you know I wanted Ed Oliver this year. I wanted him at number 6 in my mock draft video, but of course back then, I had no idea we were selecting Daniel Jones. I thought it was a possibility at 17, did not think it was going to happen at 6, so Ed Oliver was a guy I wanted, so he'll be someone I'm watching out for, absolutely. The Bills' offensive line improvements, they looked pretty good last week. I don't know if it was the Jets' defensive line not looking good, but the Jets have some really good players on the defensive line. They have Quinnen Williams, they have Leonard Williams, they have, what's the dude's name? Henry Anderson, the white dude who had like 8 or 9 sacks last year. I'm sure Jets fans know who I'm talking about. But they have some good players on that defensive line. CJ Mosley at linebacker as well. So, I mean, they have good guys. But when you watch that Bills game, Josh Allen had all day to throw. I mean, he literally had all day. So I don't know if the Giants, who have 0 pass rush, will be able to get to Josh Allen at all. I feel like we're going to see a lot of situations where Josh Allen can just sit back there for 4 or 5 seconds and just launch the ball down the field, because obviously Josh Allen could throw the ball like 80 yards. He has a terrific arm. Not accurate, but a terrific arm. So Josh Allen is very athletic. I was kind of just alluding to that. He, it's very hard to sack him. You have to get like multiple guys in the backfield at one time. He's able to avoid most pass rushers, and just because you get in the backfield, it's not a guarantee that you're going to sack Josh Allen. It's not like you're getting to Phillip Rivers or Tom Brady or Eli Manning. If you get in the backfield, Josh Allen's probably going to get out of it. He's that good at eluding pass rushers. So they have an improved receiving group. They bring in Cole Beasley, everyone's favorite receiver. Of course, the former Cowboy slot receiver. They have him. They have John Brown. They have Andre Roberts, who I talked about, but he's probably going to be out this game anyway. But John Brown had a really good game last week. He had over 100 yards, had 10 targets. So we got to watch out for him. He's a burner. He could beat us down the field. Rookie running back Devin Singletary had a great game, had 4 carries for 70 yards. He's a third-round rookie for the Bills. He looked really good, but the Bills seem like they want to stick with Frank Gore for some reason, so I personally hope they play Frank Gore as much as possible and keep Devin Singletary, the more talented running back, on the sidelines. That would be good news for us. They had 4 turnovers on offense and still won the game. Josh Allen personally had 4 turnovers in that game, and the Bills still won. That's scary. If your quarterback can turn the ball over 4 times and you still win the game, that tells you how good the defense is and how fast that offense can come back. So, I mean, that's pretty scary. So, just because the Giants win the turnover battle today, or on Sunday, I don't know why I said today, on Sunday, does not mean they win the game. So, you have to watch out for that. So now on to the Giants notes. Number one question, obviously, is can they pressure Josh Allen? They did not get to Dak Prescott much last week. There were a couple of occasions. I think O'Shane Zimenez got there once and Lorenzo Carter once, but like outside of that, there wasn't much pressure. There was the play with Ryan Conley. I remember I did that in the film breakdown where he basically had his leg wrapped up, but Dak escaped. And if you think Dak is good at escaping, watch Josh Allen. I'm telling you, he can do much more than that. Saquon Barkley should see 20 plus touches in this game. Of course, had 11 or 12. I think it was 11 carries last game. Was averaging over 10 yards per carry. The Giants should make it a priority to give him at least 18 carries in this game. I don't care what the score is. I don't care if the Bills go up 14-0 out the gate. The man deserves carries. You took him second overall. Why not use him? That's a big reason as to why the Giants weren't in that game last week. I think the Giants, they were probably going to lose regardless because of how bad that defense played. But if they ran the ball with Barkley and kept getting first down after first down and kept that defense off the field, I don't think the Cowboys are scoring 35 points. Maybe they scored 25 or 24, 27, but like it wouldn't have been that bad if you kept the Dallas offense off the field. And how do you do that? You just run the ball and you just drain the clock. I mean, the Giants need an identity. They don't have it right now on offense. They kind of have a weird offense going on right now, but if you have an improved offensive line, an offensive line that's at least average in the NFL and could be pretty good this year, honestly, they could be like between 10 and 15 in terms of ranking in the NFL. Like, why not? You have the most talented running back in the sport. Why not use him 20 plus times a game? And the argument is like, oh, well, we don't want to like wear out Barkley already. Like, why the hell did you take him then? Like, if you took him this early in the draft, you have to use him. We can't just say, we'll use him 5 years from now. Because, like, who knows if he'll be the same guy? I mean, he's going to be 27, 28 at that time. You have to use running backs, like you can't, it's not like a quarterback. It's not like you have a Lamar Jackson or Sam Darnold and you say, well, he can, we have to worry about that in a few years. Like, no, running backs produce right out the gate, and as the years go on, their production just diminishes, and that's just the way the running back position is. That's why I'm not a big fan of drafting them very high in the draft. When you take a running back that high, you have to use him a lot. I don't care, you know what I mean? Like, Barkley is a superhuman. He's not regular. He doesn't have too many injuries, thank God. Why not use him? I just don't get it. If you drafted the guy, use him. I don't get it. You watch Alvin Kamara and what the Saints do with him. You watch Christian McCaffrey and what the Panthers did with him last week. Not tonight, obviously. They played like crap. But you see how they used him in the passing game. The Giants have to do a similar thing with Saquon Barkley. He is ridiculously talented. Don't waste his career, Giants. Please. Pat Shurmur, please don't waste a man's career. All right, let's have Saquon Barkley and let him be a future Hall of Famer and use him to his max potential. That's the best thing to do right now. You have no receivers. You have to lean on Ingram. You have to lean on Barkley, and that's basically it. Lean on your offensive line. Outside of that, you don't have many playmakers. Pat Shurmur's play calling. He had a really good first drive. I liked everything about it. And then from there on out, it was kind of mixed. There was some good, some bad. There was the 3rd-and-1 play where he wanted to roll out with Eli Manning. Everyone complains about. That makes sense. Give the ball to Saquon Barkley. I mean, I understand the offensive line was not getting too much push on that play anyway. But as I said, just as the rant I went on 2 minutes ago, if you drafted the guy this high, please use him. You have a better offensive line. If it's a 3rd-and-1, a 4th-and-short, a 3rd-and-2, just give the ball to Saquon, all right? Like, it's better than having Eli Manning roll out. I've had enough of the Eli Manning rollouts. They don't work most of the time anyway. Give the ball to Saquon, please. Defensive miscommunications. We saw it a lot last week. Of course, Antoine Bethea is guilty of this. Alec Ogletree. I mean, just everyone in that secondary, Antonio Hamilton, they need to clean that crap up. I mean, they can't play the way they did defensively last week and expect to win this game. I understand Josh Allen's inaccurate and you can get away with some of that stuff, but for the most part, if they play like they did last week on defense, the Bills are going to win this game by a lot more than the 2.5 spread they were given, or 1.5 spread, whatever it is now. Eli Manning against another elite defense. I mean, the Cowboys defense is elite, whether you want to admit it or not. The Bills defense is as close to elite as it gets, and we'll see how they do. The Giants are home this time, so that helps, but we'll see how Eli Manning does in that situation. He doesn't have playmakers. There's no more throwing slants to Odell Beckham and take him 60 yards to the house. Eli Manning's going to have to be very precise and lead them down the field. There's probably not going to be many big plays. It's going to be a lot of short routes and stuff like that. But Eli Manning has to be precise, has to be efficient, and please be efficient in the red zone. That's an issue for this team. Eli Manning has to be efficient in the red zone. And I'm telling you what, if the Giants lose this game, speaking of Eli Manning, a lot of people are going to be calling for Daniel Jones. There's already been a lot this week, and it's only one loss. I stood by Eli this week. I'm definitely not an Eli apologist. You guys know that. But I stood by him this week. I think Eli deserves to start this week. He will start this week. But if they go 0-2, there's going to be a lot more Daniel Jones conversations coming up in the near future. So leaning on Evan Engram, they're going to have to do it, especially if Sterling Shepard's out, especially if Cody Latimer's out. I made this before Latimer was out. So if he's out too, this is a game where Evan Engram could have 12 to 15 targets, maybe more. I have no idea. I mean, I think the Giants should focus on running the ball in this game, but Evan Engram should be in line for a ton of targets in this game, so we'll see what he does with them. But if the Bills are smart, they'll take Engram out of the game and force someone else to beat them, but once again, they're not Bill Belichick, so we'll see what they do. Can the offensive line hold up again? They played really well last week. They allowed 1 sack, and it was on the rollout play where Eli Manning took a long time to get rid of the ball, and obviously should have thrown that ball to Shepard on 4th and 1, because as I said, you had nothing to lose. But the offensive line played well for the most part. There were some moments where they didn't do a great job. I showed you guys in the breakdown where Jalapeno let DeMarcus Lawrence get to Eli one time, but he got rid of the ball in time. Trying to think what else. I mean, I think Nate Solder had one bad play in there, but for the most part, the offensive line looked really good. So they're all healthy right now. I didn't see any of them on their injury report. They should be fine. Is Antonio Hamilton benched? That's a big question. I personally would rather see Corey Ballentine, instead of Antonio Hamilton. We know what Hamilton is. He played one of the worst cornerback games I've ever seen a Giant play, and that's saying something with some of the people we've had in this secondary, all the way back to who are some terrible, go back to Curtis Riley. Who's the dude, not DJ Swearinger, what was the dude's name? Someone we brought in, week 5, a few years ago. I don't know, the guy was terrible. But you think back to so many Giants players in the secondary in the last few years. I don't know why I can't think of anybody right now, but there's been some really bad performances in the secondary the last few years, and Antonio Hamilton is just added to that list. So I don't want to see any more of the guy. I understand there's injuries in front of him, but I don't want to see it anymore. I'm done with that. So please take him off the field. Let Corey Ballentine play. Let him develop. He at least showed some moments in preseason that he could be a legit player. He did get burnt and get beat at some points in the preseason, but he showed moments where there's promise. And I want to see him improve every game as the year goes on. They're probably not making the playoffs anyway. Just focus on improving your young guys. That's what the goal is on defense. Play Corey Ballentine over Antonio Hamilton, please. And more, as I just mentioned, more playing time for Love or Ballentine. So I just got into the whole Ballentine thing. Julian Love, does he play any free safety for the Giants if Antoine Bethea continues to struggle? Now, Dave Gettleman's not the type of GM that's going to admit, well, I was wrong, and Antoine Bethea was not a good signing. So the Giants are going to roll with Bethea as long as they possibly can until they just really can't do it anymore. So Bethea's going to have a pretty long leash from what if I had to make a guess about it. So I don't expect to see Love anytime soon, but I mean, if what's his name, Bethea plays anyway the way he did last week, there has to be questions about this guy's job and whether he should be starting anymore or whether he should be in the NFL at all. I'd rather see Michael Thomas play instead of him. I mean, I know Michael Thomas had a bad play on Jason Witten for the touchdown last week, but he had a good year overall last year. How do we know that the 35-year-old safety Antoine Bethea still has it at this point? I'd rather see Julian Love, the younger guy. Same argument as Ballentine. You're probably not making the playoffs. Let's see the kid improve. They're moving him to a new position. It's not going to be easy, but let's see the kid improve. So I didn't write down a final score and prediction. I kind of just wanted to just do it off the top of my head. If I had to guess a final score for this game, let's see. I honestly think the Bills are going to win this game. So, I mean, I don't want you guys to hate me for that, but that's just my honest opinion. You guys know my channel. I tell it how it is, and it's not always positive, but sometimes you have to say what's on your mind, and I'm not just going to be one of those kiss-ass fans that picks the Giants every week because I care about accuracy more than just feelings. So I am going to go with the Bills in this game. I think the Giants are going to score around probably 13 to 17 points. I would say the Giants score 13 or 17, and I think the Bills would probably have around, let's say, 20 to 24. So I say it's going to be 20 to 24 to 14 to 17, that kind of score. I think the Giants lose by 6 points or so. Maybe the Bills win by more if the secondary looks like garbage. It can't get any worse, so I expect some improvements, but I just think the Bills right now, based off their defense, the Giants having no receivers, I don't know how the Giants are going to move the ball right now. I obviously don't have much faith in Eli Manning, so I'm concerned about it, honestly. So we'll see what they can do. I am unfortunately picking the Bills. The Giants would go to 0-2. a lot of crap will be going down in the media, and a lot of Daniel Jones people will be calling for his name and want Eli Manning benched. But we'll see how Eli plays. I'm not ready to say he should be benched yet. I think Eli should get at least a couple more games. We'll see what happens. If Eli plays like total crap this game, I might change my mind. But we'll see how Sunday plays out. I do have the Bills winning this game, so I'm sorry about that. But anyway, if you made it to the end, I appreciate it. If you guys like this format or have any suggestions about this, let me know in the comments. And I'll talk to you guys after the game on Sunday. Hopefully it's a win. Hopefully it's a positive review. But we'll see what happens. I'll talk to you guys Sunday.